Hi Flosstube, my name is Danielle and this is my channel. Primarily is going to be about cross stitch, but I am originally a diamond painter, and so I might every once in a while, like if I finish a diamond painting or something like that, do a little check-in about that. I named this episode Flosstube number 1-ish because I'm not totally new to Flosstube. I'm just new to doing it properly. I had another channel that I started as a diamond painter, and I sort of transitioned into doing Flosstube videos. But in the diamond painting world on YouTube, like, we do unboxings and we do whip-in chats. So I never filmed like me because normally I'm filming what I was unboxing or I was filming my project while I chatted. So when I transitioned into doing Flosstubes, I tried to kind of continue filming that way, and from all the Flosstube that I watch, it's just not really done that way. And so I don't know if that's like why it didn't take, or if it didn't take because, you know, I was already quasi-established as diamond painting content, and cross-stitchers aren't really interested in diamond painting content, and diamond painters aren't really interested in cross-stitching content. Obviously, you know, there are exceptions. But I didn't film anything for a really long time, and I just been kind of feeling like I wanted to get back into filming Flosstubes, but I kind of just wanted to like do it right, start fresh. And I had kind of like, I think a lot of people make the mistake of like using a personal account to just like, oh, I'm just gonna upload this video for fun, and then you get kind of into it. And so it was a personal YouTube or Gmail account, and yeah, it just never really like worked out very well. So I created a new Gmail account so that I could have like a dedicated Flosstube channel, email, all that good stuff. And so I'm back. Kind of. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've done a few. I hope to continue to do more, and I thought that I would start by just like, I'll tell you a little bit about myself because I'm kind of, you know, introducing myself, and then I would start with a whip parade because I don't have too many whips. I mean, it's, yeah, I have a few, but it's not too many. And, you know, that would sort of like give, you know, a good jumping off point, and you can kind of see what I'm interested in stitching and everything. So yeah, here we go. So my name is Danielle, and I live in the United States. I live in Oregon, and if you're in the United States, you probably know where Oregon is. If you're not in the United States, Oregon is just north of California, just south of Washington State. So not the state that's actually on the Canadian border, and not California, right in the middle. Born and raised here, and I live with my husband and my 2 dogs, and we take care of my brother-in-law. He is very mentally disabled, so he requires pretty much 24-hour, you know, care slash at least like supervision. If you're not, you know, doing something for him, he needs to be monitored. So yeah, and I'll have put in a few pictures of me and my husband and my doggies. My husband and I have been together for, wait, I should know this. So we just celebrated our 13th anniversary in May of being together, and this next May will be May of 2022 will be our 10-year wedding anniversary. So that's kind of exciting. We got married in Hawaii. I'll put a picture in, which was like the coolest, best decision we ever made, because like we didn't have to plan anything. We just had to call a company and say, hey, we want to get married on the beach. And they were like, okay, you know, just pay us this amount of money and you'll have some flowers and you'll have an officiant. And we chose to have somebody play some music, and we just had a couple friends who were able to join us, and yeah, it was really good. So yeah, and like I said, we have our two doggos, and we take care of my brother-in-law. And my husband works in a group home run by the state for people who are kind of like his brother, mentally disabled, intellectually disabled, and I, like, due to my brother-in-law needing, you know, care 24/7 and my husband having a job outside the home, I would not really be able to work outside the home. But I do get paid to be one of my brother-in-law's support workers. So I am super fortunate that I, you know, pretty much get to be a stay-at-home. So, you know, don't get me wrong, it is super challenging and stressful, but I do have a lot of like flexibility with my time and get to craft a lot because of it. So, okay, so, and I have been stitched. So like I said, I started as a diamond painter, and I started diamond painting in March of 2019, and got so into that, deep into diamond painting, and really loved it. And then after, so it was about a year and a half later, for some reason, I don't know when the desire to learn how to cross stitch started in me, but I think possibly like being in the diamond painting community did sort of jumpstart that, because there are some diamond painters who cross stitch. I'm talking to you, Rachel Ray, if you watch this. And I will like give a few of my favorite Flosstubers too, and Rachel Ray is definitely on that list. And I would watch Rachel Ray's cross-stitching videos just because like I really liked watching Rachel's videos. And so I definitely feel like I partially blame Rachel Ray for getting me into cross-stitching. But I finally took the plunge in August of 2020, and we were deep into the pandemic at this point. And to be honest with you, diamond painting wasn't really doing it for me anymore, as far as like truly helping with my anxieties and my sort of racing mind. And I like, when the pandemic started, I dove into Animal Crossing really hard, because like, come on, you're on an island on a beach, like running around just like picking up seashells and, you know, having little conversations with your villagers. Like, I totally like immersed myself in Animal Crossing, because like I didn't really want to be here in reality. But you know, that like ebbed after a few months. So, and again, the diamond painting just wasn't really doing it for me, because diamond painting is, to me, it got to the point where it became pretty mindless. I don't even really have to count anymore with diamond painting, because I use a multiplacer, and I would before like count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'd have to count the 4 drills and pick them up. But honestly, just like looking at the diamond painting, I can kind of usually guess how many drills it is, and then looking at the drills, I can kind of guess how many drills it is. So I didn't even really have to count anymore. It was just like, pick up drills, put them on the canvas, pick up drills, put them on the canvas. And it just wasn't doing enough for me. So I decided I was like, I'm gonna pick. I was like, if it weren't for the fact that a needle is involved, I want a 3-year-old to be able to do this. It's so easy. So I got a kit on Amazon, super itty bitty tiny. I'll put a picture in over there. I've tried to kind of like keep my camera so that I have room over there, because this is gonna be very edit heavy. Because I have, with it being a lit parade, I have a lot of pictures I'm gonna have to put in. So little tiny itty bitty tiny thing. Took me 2 nights to do, and I way down the rabbit hole. So far down the rabbit hole. And here we are, a year and a little bit more than like 13 months later, and I love it. I love cross stitch so much. I love the cross stitching community. I do still diamond paint, not very much though anymore, because like cross stitching, I can do it, you know, on the couch. Like I'm already there. My stuff is right there next to me. The dogs are usually on my lap, so it's kind of like a big deal to be like, okay, disrupt everybody so that I can go sit at the table. But yeah, so I love cross stitching. I'm here for it. I watch like so much Flosstube. Favorite Flosstubers. I'm gonna forget so many people, but favorite Flosstubers are definitely Rachel Ray, and then she has a couple of very good friends that I want to be very like, I want to be friends with all these Flosstubers in real life. So her friends, Mislaid Pages, Jessie from Mislaid Pages, Heike from Stone Cold Coffee Crafts. Then there is Bendy Stitchy, Michelle. I love her. I hope to meet her someday because we live in the same state, and my local needle workshop is Acorns and Threads, and I know she comes up to Acorns and Threads, and I'm a Patreon of hers, and I was like, Michelle, if you're ever coming up here, please just like tell me the day before. I will get to Acorns and Threads. But I hope, you know, when they start doing in-person things again, I'll probably meet her at like an in-person thing. Chris Cross Stitch. I love Chris Cross Stitch. He calls himself the Mr. Rogers of Flosstube, and he is not wrong. He is totally the Mr. Rogers of Flosstube. Noah Stitches. Noah Stitches was one of the first Flosstubers that I found after I started cross stitching, because like I finished that cupcake and I was like, okay, I need, like Rachel didn't have a video, or I had just watched her video or something. I was like, I need more Flosstube. So I searched for Flosstubers, and that was actually like the week he did his first video. So I found his first video, and I've been hooked on Noah ever since the first video. Stitchman Darcy. I really like him. I just found him recently, but I just love him. He's kooky, and like just his energy is great. Daybreak Stitchery. I think that's right. Nithya. I really love her. Like, I love how much research she puts into her cross stitching. Like, she was taught in her last Flosstube, she was talking about something she was stitching had a berry in it, and she didn't know what the berry was, and so she researched the berry. Like, I love it. I'm here for it. Totally here for like all the researching, all the education. Absolutely love it. Oh goodness, who else? I have a couple of relatively new ones that I'm sorry, I can't remember their names right now because I've only watched a couple videos. But yeah, so I'm here for all the Flosstubes. I'm constantly, like, when videos pop up in my feed, like in the algorithm, I would just like save for later. And then when I watch them, if I like them, I just hit subscribe, and I probably am subbed now to like 25 Flosstubers. So, okay, 15 minutes later, should I start showing you my whips? Yes, I should. Okay, so I will do this somewhat in chronological order, except for the fact that I'm really bad at tracking. I have a preferred way to track my stitching, but I don't do it. Well, like I started to do it, and then I stopped doing it because it felt like too much work. And then I kind of have this thing about like, I either have all the data or I have none of the data. And so I sort of just stopped tracking, but I probably will start tracking again, like with new starts. Maybe I just started 5 things this week for my birthday. So maybe I'll go back and start with those projects because all I have is 1 day on them, and I know what days I started them, so maybe I'll start there. But everything else that I have going, it's not gonna happen. Okay, so this is my oldest whip. Also, FYI, I am not that floss tuber that is going to take things off Q-snaps. I am not that floss tuber that is going to iron things. I am that floss tuber who is going to like insert pictures. I'm usually pretty good about taking a picture when I take it off the Q-snap to move it. So I will first put in a picture of this completed design because it was a sal that's done, and then I'll insert a picture of the last time I put it up, took it off the Q-snap. So this is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Christmas Wreath Club. This was started in November of 2020. It finished in August. Well, August was the last clue release. September was the finishing instructions. So it's only been over for like 2 weeks really. There were 10 parts of stitching, and I want to say that I'm in part 7. So I have 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go. Pattern Keeper tells me I have like 6,200 stitches left. This is totally finishable soon, and after all my birthday starts, this is totally my priority because I don't really want it to turn 1 year old. In fact, I was going to make it my priority because I finished something in August for my friend who was coming to visit me, and then I was like, okay, Wreath. And then I got distracted by September, season of smalls. I did 2 smalls. I had a couple weeks where I didn't stitch because I had like an injury that I couldn't really sit in my stitchy space. I was kind of bedbound for like a week and a half. And then I was like, but now it's time for my birthday start. So this, I haven't touched this in like a month, over a month. So I need to get back to it now that I've done my birthday starts. But yeah, so this is where I am now. Just bringing Mrs. Claus to life. And there's like mostly just a bunch of green and a peppermint, or a candy cane left for the part. So it's not too bad. I'm also that stitcher that leaves needle minders and needles on their projects. Yeah. So that's definitely my oldest whip. Okay. Where am I gonna put these? My next oldest whip, probably, again, just guesstimating here, doesn't look like much, but this is my first Heaven and Earth design. It is called Breath of Power by Jodie Bergsma, Bergsma, I think. Again, picture will be over there somewhere. When I first started stitching, I was like, I'll never stitch a Hade, and then the more I looked at them, I was like, and I think the more I stitched, I was like, I could do that. I don't know if I can do it, if I'm being totally honest. Not because it's hard. I'm definitely into cross country. I do not, I have watched y'all that do the little 10 by 10 blocks in park. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Because I don't like changing threads and changing needles and stuff. So I'm definitely a cross country person. This is only 2 different colors. It's like 800 something stitches in here, I think. And I do really want to work on this. My problem is that I crave finishing. I'm not technically like after the final product. It's not that I'm a product stitcher. It's that, hold on, sorry. Technical difficulties already. Okay, so I did go back to see where my camera cut me off, and it wasn't my camera's fault. It was me touching the camera, turned it off. Anyway, so it's not that I'm a product stitcher. It's that I am very much a process stitcher, but a finished product is a big part of the process for me, if that makes sense. So a lot of times, like, I want to work on something, or I want to work on this specifically, but I feel like there are other things that I could finish, or like with the wreath, I feel a lot of obligation to the wreath. So, you know, I'm still like learning my stitching style and what I really want to stitch on and what I don't want to stitch on. And I think that my focus next year, because you're going to see all my whips. My focus next year, really, I don't want this many whips. I would, but I don't want to be a monogamous stitcher either. So I would like to get myself down to like somewhere between 3 and 6 whips. And I think only having, you know, like 1 in 3 projects could be a really big project. 1 in 3 projects could be sort of a medium-sized project. Like I define that Wreath as about medium. My sweet spot is somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 stitches, I'm finding. I really enjoy quick finishes, and I really enjoy the thought anyways of a really big thing. That feels immensely like satisfying to me, but I don't really enjoy medium-sized projects because it just feels like they take a very long time. The satisfaction that I get from finishing something that size is not sort of worth how long it took for me to do it. So that's what I've learned about myself. So there's definitely some things that maybe I wouldn't have started stitching had I realized that first. But you know, here we are. I'm gonna probably finish them. I have UFO'd a couple things already in my stitching career. But I'm really trying to hone in on like what I really want to stitch and what I don't want to stitch. So I do want to do this, and I don't want a Haid to take me 10 years either. I bought 2 other Haids when I bought this Haid. So, you know, I would like to do all 3 in 10 years probably, but I need to get these. I took on a lot of medium-sized projects that I probably shouldn't have taken on, or I should have only taken them on one at a time. So that is Breath of Power, Heaven and Earth Designs. Okay. Now it's gonna get more complicated to figure out what I started next, but I think what I'll do actually is show you. Okay, hold please. Okay, so I have 3 projects that I just call my Gilmore Girls project. And I call them my Gilmore Girls project because I am watching the series while I stitch them, but I'm doing it very specifically. So the first Gilmore Girls project that I ever found out about was a stitch along in a Facebook group called The Enablers. And they have some really cool people in that group that design free stitch-alongs or free patterns. And so I saw it on Facebook, and I was like, or I mean on Instagram, and I was like, where can I find this stitch-along, please? So I went to the group, joined, and they were like halfway done with the stitch-along, but it dropped frequently. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait till it's over. And the way this stitch along was designed is that there is a motif associated to an episode. It was very heavy on the first season. Naturally, you know, you're introducing characters, you're, you know, you're introducing like themes and characters for the first time. So 1 second, water. You know, a lot of references are going to be in the first season. So that is why this project is a lot further than the other 2 projects, because when I'm watching the episode, I stitch the motif. Now, the motif almost always takes me longer than the episode. I'm not a very fast stitcher. So what I do then is if the next episode has no motif, I continue to watch Gilmore Girls until I run up against another episode with a motif. In the first season, that didn't happen a lot, maybe 1 or 2 episodes. When I'm still stitching on a motif, because like you'll see, some of these are big, then I switch to one of my other favorite shows, Ugly Betty. And I watch Ugly Betty until I finish the motif, then I go back to Gilmore Girls. So in the first season, I didn't have a lot of opportunity to work on the second project, which was Forbidden Fiber Company's Gilmore Girls, like mystery. It was like a mystery kit. Totally jumped on that. I was like, in the cart, don't need to question you. That might have been one of the first things that I bought from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I've definitely gone down the Forbidden Fiber Co. rabbit hole. I love pretty much everything Leanne does. So then the Black Needle Society did a Gilmore Girls retreat. So that's the third piece. And the only stitching I have done on that was during the retreat. What I did was I worked on the Enablers stitch along. When I got to episodes that did not have a motif in the Enablers, I worked on Black Needle Society. I didn't have any time to get back to Forbidden Fiber Co. during that time. And I haven't worked on it since then, which was in August. So, but that's sort of like the plan. I will finish Forbidden Fiber Co. before I would finish Black Needle Society. So the plan is to, if I have an episode, work on this one that I'm about to show you. If I don't have a motif attached to the episode, work on Forbidden Fiber Co. And then after Forbidden Fiber Co. is done, because that pattern's not too horribly big, then go back to working on the retreat piece. And I want to be done with all three of these projects by June of 2022, because that is when the Black Needle Society will be doing the next Gilmore Girls themed piece. So I want to have all three of these pieces done by June. So after the wreath, this actually really should be my focus. Okay, so this piece is the Enablers Facebook group Stitch Along. Okay. So it starts up here with Boys Don't Like Funny Girls, was episode 1. You can see the Pop-Tart and the apple. That was 1. The daisy was 1. The French flag was 1. The Chilton flag was 1. Snowflake was 1. The motorcycle, the cornstarch, the pot and the spoon was for Suki. The lipstick. Okay, there we go. Dragonfly, the Jeep with the antlers from the episode when the deer hit Rory. Luke Steiner, and then the bow tie is for Richard Gilmore. The 4:03 a.m. is from Rory's birthday episode. So I've done like 17, 15, somewhere in there. But I'm done with the first season. I've done a little bit into season 2. Trying to think. Oh, the books. So it's a show, it's a lifestyle, it's a religion. Yeah, so it is getting to the point where the episodes are spaced more, which will free up time for the other 2 projects. So that's this one. Then next was, oh, sorry. This is sad. This is sad. Mind you, I've only had the opportunity to work on it 1 time. But this is the Forbidden Fiber Co. That is a coffee cup. I'll put a picture in, obviously, if I haven't already, but I will put a picture in. It's a really pretty pattern. I really love it. This will be what I'm stitching on if I don't have a motif associated to the episode. Then, okay, the third piece is the Black Needle Society one. And I worked on this during the retreat if I didn't have an episode. This is a full coverage piece. It is about 6 inches by 6 inches, and there will be 4 pieces. It is it's basically like a year in Stars Hollow. And again, I'll put a picture in, but this first part is autumn. And so like this part is gonna have the gazebo, and like you can see pumpkins and like fall leaves and stuff. But then as it goes, over here is gonna be winter in Stars Hollow. Over here is gonna be summer, and then spring. So it'll be spring, summer, fall, winter. And it's going to take, the retreats are about 10 months apart. So we had August 2021, June 2022, I assume like March or April of 2023, and then probably like a January or February of 2024. So yeah, obviously the other two need to get done. So this can get done, and then this, every year I will have a new one to do. So, and I'll just watch the Gilmore Girls while I stitch it. I love the Gilmore Girls. I've probably watched it like 5 times through, probably. I'm a big like rewatcher of TV. Chris Crossstitch was saying in his interview with Sambury Stitches that like he read somewhere that like in times of just occurred to me that I did something out of order. Anyway, in times of like stress, we rewatch things because we know the endings. There's no surprises. And I feel like I do that all the time anyways because of anxiety. That, and I just like, I'm picky about what I like, and I don't like wasting my time, I guess. And so the worst thing I can do is like watch something and be like, I wish I had those 2 hours of my life back. Okay, this one, well, I'll insert a picture because I printed it out in black and white. This was started in February also, so before the Gilmore Girls project. I have a problem that I don't know which way is up anymore. I think this way. It's another sad one, y'all. So this is, I know it doesn't show up very well right now, but I think it will when the other colors are in. But this is Lindy Stitch's Blue Footed Boobies. And I started this in February when Jessie from Miss Life Pages was doing February. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I really did want to finish it in February. I don't know what I got sidetracked with. I know I started the Heaven and Earth design, but I probably just got sidetracked with other things. I will probably not get back to this until February of 2022 because she is going to do February again. So I'm hoping that I can actually focus on it because it's not very big, and I decided to not do the border. There's like a checkered black and white border around it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stitch the birds, the sand, and the flowers. So I will get back to that in February, and hopefully it'll be a finish because I don't want to carry it another year. Again, I don't think I really like having a lot of whips. I don't want to be monogamous, but I don't want to have, 20 projects. Okay, next. Okay. This I don't have to put a picture in because I actually have the cover because it is this was a kit that my husband had bought me for Christmas, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I had actually seen somebody finish this in a group. I could never go back and find the picture though. I tried, but they had like gotten it back from the framer. It was gorgeous, but Lord help me. I mean, first of all, it is kind of big. It's definitely one of those like medium-sized projects that I was talking about that I'm not super into. Second of all, blends. It's a complicated chart. I looked at the chart, I'd only been stitching like 3 months at this point, and I looked at the chart and I was like, I'm scared. I was like, what'd you do to me? He actually bought me 2 charts from the same company. I don't know if I'll get to the other one. I love him, and I hope it doesn't hurt his feelings. But we gotta stitch what we love, right? I think he kind of figured out, like, it was funny. He was never the supportive. I mean, he wasn't not supportive, don't get me wrong. But he was never like, oh my God, I love that you're doing this so much. I want to go buy you stuff. But for some reason, with diamond painting, but for some reason with cross stitch, he really was. But then I think he kind of figured out that like, it takes a long time. Like maybe don't buy me a bazillion things, like, because will any of us ever really get through everything we have? So yeah, but it's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful someday. I started this on our anniversary. I had wanted to do it as a New Year, New Start. The fabric in the kit was not going to work for me. So then I bought more other fabric. You know, I really hope I'm putting my needle minders at the top of my project. Because I get back to them and I'm like, what's going on? So this is my start. My other problem with it, I stitched on this a couple times. My other problem with it is that the kit floss is pre-cut. They're very, very, very short lengths. I loop start. Loop starting one of these pre-cut lengths, I get like 15 stitches. I'm not excited about that. I really just hate trying to stitch over tails. I don't like it at all. But see, to me, even if I don't loop start and I get like the 30 to 40 stitches because I stitched over a tail, which I'll have to do with the blends, I like to use long lengths. When I stitch and I cut my own floss, I probably get 50 to 70 stitches after I loop it. Yeah, I stitch with very, very, very long lengths. So this project is challenging for me. It's very challenging. But yeah, so I do love it and I will finish it because I love it so much. But it's a challenge. And it's on paper. I scanned it, kind of got it into Pattern Keeper. It's not perfect, but yeah. So that also makes it challenging. I am very much not a paper pattern person. Okay. We're almost down to the birthday starts, guys. I only have a couple more things. Okay. This is, again, picture will be somewhere on the screen. This is the D's 20 Stitches, art by Uncanny Kari, Trans Pride Tapestry. Yeah, just totally down for it. It's beautiful. It's 20,000 stitches. So again, it's kind of outside my comfort zone for stitching. I am stitching in this. I'm sorry. I am also not that Flosstuber that's probably going to remember to give you fabric and floss information. Yeah. If you ever want to know, just ask. Just ask. I'm happy to provide the answer. Maybe I'll even get super fancy and make one of those whip lists like what Rachel Ray has, and I'm sure other Flosstubers do it too, where they have a list of all their whips and it has all the information on it. To the best of my recollection, because like after the tag comes off, especially I have a lot of Picture This Plus. After the tag comes off, nope. The Blue-Footed Boobies, that was Picture This Plus. The Gilmore Girls one that I'm still sitting here looking at was Fibrelicious. Yeah. This is Forbidden Fiber Co. I had done an order at her shop for just like pretty colors, not anything for a project, just because like I was like, pretty colors, yay! And she had some fabric in the shop, and I think it's called Petunia, something like that. But it's opalescent. It was the first time I stitched on opalescent. It is 18 count, and I hate 18 count. Hate it. I learned that when I stitched on some 18 count. It was actually the 18 count that came in the kit for the reindeer. And after I decided I was not going to stitch the reindeer on that, I just used it for some scrap, and I did 2 small things on it, and I hated it. Well, with this one, like this I think was like the only fabric I had that I wanted to use that was the right size and everything. I think I only have one more 18 count in my stash. Glad I figured out pretty quickly that I don't like 18 count. My problem with 18 count is I tried one strand on 18 count and I don't like the coverage. It feels too thin to me. But I'm probably being overcritical, like looking at it too closely. And then I feel like 2 strands, which is what I'm stitching with, love the coverage, hate trying to get the needle through after it's already gone through with floss a couple times. So that's why I hate 18 count. Probably shouldn't have started a project 20,000 stitches. And I mean, I could restart this, but the problem is I won't use the fabric for anything. So I may as well just finish the project, you know, that way the fabric's not still in my stash, right? So, but yes, this is the Trans Pride Tapestry. This is just like, I love it. Like, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful unicorn. And I really just like, I love just outlining these things. And then when I get to fill in, I'm gonna kill it when I get to fill in. So this might not get, I don't know how I'm gonna work on my whips going forward. I did download like the Tiny Decisions app and loaded all my whips onto them. If I'm ever like, hey, what the heck do I stitch? Yeah, so I don't know, but it might not get love until summer again, like Pride. That's kind of when we started these things. Next, where's my cover picture? Where are you? There you are. Okay, so I bought this. I went up to Seattle end of July, early August, and the whole purpose was I had been up to Seattle a few years before and I'd gone whale watching because I really, really, really love orcas. I've just always been drawn to them. I was really fortunate to go. I live in the state where Keiko from Free Willy was brought to for, you know, his rehabilitation. I was able to see him twice. So I don't know if it's just like that movie came out at just like a very like, you know, influential time of my childhood or what, but I've just always been really drawn to them. They show up in my dreams, like not super often, but occasionally. So I had always really, really, really wanted to, you know, see the orcas like off the San Juan Islands. But I had seen a lot about, you know, seeing them in the Puget Sound and stuff. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like that's, you know, like a goal. So we'd gone up a few years ago, 2018. We went out whale watching. I'll put in a couple pictures for you because we did not get to see the orcas, but we did get a fabulous, what they call whale napped our boat because they cannot run their engine if the whales are within a certain distance of the boat. And yeah, he was like under our boat, right up next side to our boat. So he like whale napped us, but it was a humpback whale. And we tried to find the orcas, couldn't find the orcas. I was very sad and disappointed. So this year I told my husband, I was like, I really, really, really want to go back to Seattle, go whale watching. Hopefully we see orcas this time, go a little earlier in the season. So we did, we went up and we found orcas, yes. I did not get very many good pictures, but I'll try to put a video in for you because I did get a couple okay videos.
T137s, the T34s, T37s, T37As, and at least 2 members of the T36As. Again, that should add up to around 23 individual orcas.
So I knew there was a cross-stitching shop, like maybe 20 minutes east, 15 minutes east of Seattle. So we went there before we left, and I was hoping to find like exactly this. I didn't know this existed, but this is what I wanted to find. So I wanted to find, even though I have Breath of Power, which is amazing and cool, I wanted to find something smaller, still an orca. I should have probably led with that whole, that's why I wanted to stitch Breath of Power, huh? Anyway, so I wanted to find something orca related that was maybe just a little smaller than a Haid. And I did. So this is Killer Whale. The art is by Sue Coleman, charted by the Stitching Studio, and I love it. I may not stitch the Native American symbol and just keep it a little simpler. I have a very sad start on it, and I might restart it because I really hate the fabric, but I was really just kind of wanting to get a start with it. But yeah, so I love it. This is my super sad start. Yep. I love this fabric, and I think like it'll look so cool on it, but it's a 32 count Lugana from Dying for Cross Stitch and Opalescent, obviously, and the weave feels very uneven to me, almost like uneven shrinkage, I guess. I had a very hard time getting my needle through. I measured it to make sure I didn't get like the wrong count or something, and I maybe should do one strand of floss or something like that. But I had a really hard time seeing it. I had a really hard time stitching on it. I had a hard time counting it. I already have a really hard time counting on even weave. I really prefer to stitch on Aida because it's so much easier for me to count. I have a very hard time counting on even weave, but I know it's sort of like a necessary evil for certain projects. So I do try to keep it, I do try to use it even when I don't have to sometimes, which you'll see on some of my birthday starts that I did on even weave even though I didn't have to. And I like the overall look, you know, that it gives versus Aida, but it's very difficult for me to count. And when the holes are squished together, makes it even harder for me to count. So might restart it. I did buy another piece of fabric from Color and Cotton that is not like blue and black and stuff, but it's kind of like light blue and pinks and purples. So not quite as dramatic of effect, but I still think might be kind of a cool effect for the orca. Yep. So, okay. Okay, one other thing to show you. It's kind of a whip, but it's not, I haven't actually put any stitches in on it. I participated in Bendy Stitchy Michelle's auction for the MMIW. They're raising money for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. And she auctioned off a whip. Well, okay, story. She was auctioning off the Sense and Sensibility Sal whip, and I was like, hey, I was kind of drawn to that piece, but I never bought it. And so I was like, I think it'd be really cool to, you know, not only do I then get to do the piece, but it'll be, you know, partially done by her, because like fangirl moment, I'm a really big fan of Michelle, and so I was like, that would be really cool to have like something that she stitched partly, and then I'll finish. Really cool. So I was like determined. I was like, I'm winning this auction. I was like, I will set an alarm because that's really early in the morning for me. I was like, I will set an alarm and I will win this auction. Well, I was going back and forth with somebody for those last like 10 minutes of the auction, and I got my, you know, I outbid the person right at the time cutoff, right? And like I kept refreshing. I took a screenshot because, like, you know, things are weird, right? Like Instagram, those comments showed up in such weird orders. Like I had a hard time figuring out like where the bid started, you know? So I took a screenshot because, you know, it's always good to just like have it in case something weird happens. And also in case the person like kept bidding, I was like, but hey, it's the time, you know, like, so that's why I did. I took the screenshot, and the person didn't, you know, bid back or anything. So I was like, okay, cool. So when she got on and was like, oh, you know, here's the winner, she tagged the other person. And I was like, what? but I had the last bid, and I was like, here's my screenshot. And she got back to me super quick, and she was like, well, here's my screenshot. And it did not show my last bid at all. It showed my bid prior and then that person responding to it, but then it didn't show my response to that. So it was so weird because our screenshots showed two totally separate things. So she was like, well, hey, I have other whips that I'm gonna put up for charity. So if you want to still, you know, donate the same amount, well, let's look at my other whips. So I was like, yeah, totally. Instagram is stupid. But I was still like happy, you know, like the point was like, A, donate to charity. B, I was still getting a whip, you know, that she had stitched on. So it still accomplishes the same thing. But it was kind of tricky because she stitches a lot on 40 count, and that's not going to happen. No. So she only had like two things that were either 32 count or Ada. And I don't know if this is, this might be 18 because the model was stitched on 36, but it's Ada. So if they provided Ada, they may have provided 18 count. But so this is Needle in Hand by Hello from Liz Matthews. And this was from the Acorns and Threads, like 25th anniversary. This was designed exclusively for Acorns and Threads. I don't know if it's been released yet, like to the general public, because I believe that, you know, typically it's exclusive for a year, and I'm pretty sure that that retreat was in October last year. So I mean, it should be soon. But so I did think this was pretty cool too, because by the time I started stitching, you know, I couldn't have joined that retreat. I remember her doing it. And Acorns and Threads is my local needle workshop. So, you know, there's a tie in there. So that's pretty cool. But I have not actually put any stitches into this yet. But it is a whip because, you know, it's started. I just haven't worked on it yet. So let me show you what she's done, what she provided to me, which is this. So she did quite a bit. She did all the words, and she started the houses. So really it's just like border and motifs. So yeah, pretty happy about that. Okay, that is everything except my birthday starts. So, birthday starts. I'm gonna do this in the order I started them, but in order to do that, I put them in a really poor order on my table. Okay. I got really indulgent. I didn't really do a birthday start last year. I was still so new. I was working on like my third project. So this is like my first year doing a birthday start. And I was having a rough couple weeks. And I've basically had all this stuff kitted either for a while or in the last couple months I've kitted it. So I already kind of had it available. And I did have a rough couple weeks. That injury was pretty sucky. But I won't go into it because it's, yeah, but it was sucky. And I was just like, I wanted to start all the things. And I still do kind of want to start all the things, but I'm like, I want to finish. Got to finish some things. So, but my first birthday start was, again, picture, Carolyn Manning's Peacock Topaz. I bought a couple of these patterns last year. When I first found Caroline Manning, there was a Facebook group that I was in that was doing a stitch along, so I was seeing a lot of it. And I thought from the very beginning, like, wow, those geometric shapes, just fun squares and triangles and rectangles, I was like, that would be so satisfying to stitch, like so satisfying. That I was like, I have to. So I got 2 patterns. I got Peacock Topaz. I got a purple one. I think it's amethyst something. And then I got a, 1 second, please. Got a snowman one. She has a lot of snowmen. And then I've been watching Stitcherista's cross-stitching videos. I was into her for diamond painting for a while, kind of fell out, and I mean, I have fallen out of a lot of diamond painting stuff since I started cross-stitching, but then she started cross-stitching again, so I'm watching her cross-stitching stuff, and she has been stitching a Caroline Manning called Phoenix, and like as soon as she started it, I was like, I have to kit it up now. I have to. And so I bought the floss for it. And then I decided it would be a birthday start. So all of these projects I'm about to show you have only had 1 day of work on them. This is my start. I just love it. Like, it is so satisfying. It is just so freaking satisfying. Like, if you heard that, that's my dog scratching on the door. She doesn't actually need to go out. She's just like, Mom, why aren't you sitting on the couch? Do you want to say hi to Flosstube? Come here. Come here. Hi. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, say hi to the Flosstube. This is Piper. Yeah. Yeah. Say hi to the Flosstube. Oh goodness. You're not be in my arms, but I can't show my things. I can't show my things. If you're in my arms, I can't show the things. She is the best dog. But she is a little bit of a diva, drama queen. And right now, she's insisting that she needs outside because Mom's not sitting on the couch. Okay, so I'll finish talking about this and then I'll put her down because you already saw the project anyway. So, anyway, yeah, it's just so satisfying. Oh, you tired? You tired? Yeah. It's so satisfying to stitch those little triangles and squares. It's awesome. I almost didn't want to put it down to start another thing, but I knew I had to. Otherwise, it would have taken me like a month to do my birthday starts. So, do you see this? Do you see how pathetic you are, Pipo? Yeah. Do you see how pathetic you are? Can Mama put you down now? Oh. Yeah. She's 4. We've had her since she was a puppy. Okay, be a good girl. Yeah. But I promise she doesn't actually need out. So yeah. Caroline Manning, Peacock Topaz, birthday start number 1. Okay. Birthday start number 2. Hold please. This requires more concentration. Using a, oh, I don't need to edit a picture in for this one either. Using a Love You More Studio sleeve. Okay, so, ma'am, Miss Piper. Hey, Piper. 1 second. Y'all, she's not really a barker. She's not really a security dog, but when she sees things that are like out of place, she'll go berserk. And last week she saw a cat on the fence and she went crazy, or she went wild. And she was scurrying out the slider, and I think she either saw something or thought she saw something, so I just went ahead and let her out. She spent 5 minutes running around the yard, I think, looking for the cat. Anyway, she's still looking out the back door. Okay, so my next birthday start. I have a very, very, very good friend. Her name is Heather. I don't think she'll ever watch these videos because she just, I tell her all the time, like, go watch this Flosstuber, go watch that. She just doesn't do it. So anyway, we met at the beginning of 2020. We were working on the same diamond painting and saw each other in a Facebook group. And we were like, hey, we should just like chat about our diamond painting. And but it's just totally blossomed into just a really amazing friendship. And we talk like every day, and we're totally are each other's worst enablers. So she gifted me some money for my birthday, but she did it early so that maybe, you know, I could get my things before my birthday. So there was some money to 123 Stitch. And so I got on there and I was just kind of looking around because like I didn't really need anything. But I was like, okay, I want to do something kind of extravagant and kind of bougie, but like maybe something, definitely something that I wouldn't have done for myself, but still something that I loved, you know? And that's kind of I think that's like a hard balance to figure out, because you gotta love it to stitch it. But then if I really loved it, why wouldn't I do it for myself? So I was totally looking at like Mirabilia and Nora Corbett. And cause you know, like besides like chatelaine and Hades and stuff, you know, it's up there with super fancy stuff. So I was looking at Nora Corbett, and this one really spoke to me. This is called Foxglove, and it is from her Pixie Blossoms collection. And all of them have flower themed dresses. And I don't know what it was about her, but she was just so beautiful. And, you know, gotta love 123 Stitch. They tell you everything in the project. And there was no cryneck. I have not worked with cryneck yet. I'm about to, though, in something I will discuss after I show you the birthday starts. So there was no cryneck, just DMC with blends and beads. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna finally do my first, you know, I know it's not technically a Mirabilia, but Nora Corbett is like the designer behind Mirabilia, if I understand things correctly. So, but it's my first fancy lady. So, and I just think she's stunning. She's really beautiful. So I started her, and I just bought everything. Love it. 123 Stitch. Just like added it all to my cart. And she was on the cheaper side. Like sometimes I'm really shocked, you know, how much it all adds up to. But I was pleasantly surprised that she was on the cheaper side. And it actually was all within my 123 Stitch gift card, to the point where I added a couple just like accessory things to bump me to there. And I basically just paid shipping. So here's my start. I started at the bottom center, and because I'm not a center starter. I don't like trying to find, I mean, I can find the center, but I just don't really like, I want to be sure. And I feel like when I start at the bottom or the top, particularly in a corner, I can be more sure that like I'm starting in the right place and I have dimensions both ways and stuff. So this is my start. Again, one night. I loved it. She's not in Pattern Keeper, but I did upload my scanned copy into a different app that I can't remember right now. It's like XR Markup something. Definitely not as good as Pattern Keeper, but I was able to, I went ahead and I just reselected kind of everything I stitched. And it was almost 400 stitches, so that's a good day for me. So I really love her. Love her a lot. And the fact that, you know, my friend gifted her to me, basically. She's even more, sorry, Piper. I know, I made a big noise, I'm sorry. You know, makes her even more special. But in here, I just have all the beads. You can hear them. My floss, I have my legend. I was bad and I just cut it apart. Because I was gonna try to stitch off the pattern. Again, I'm not a paper person, but my pattern had a tear in one of the folds. Like the fold was so sharp that it kind of split the paper. So the pattern, it would be hard to pass because of that. Because I mean, I still could, but I was like, whatever. If somebody really wanted it, they would take it, you know, cut up. I don't care. I'm not that sentimental. Okay, birthday start number 3. This was the first, this is sad, y'all. This was the first sampler, true sampler, that I was really attracted to. I don't know if you could tell yet, but I feel like I'm not super drawn to super traditional stitching. I will do like a finish video where I show you everything I've finished, because again, it's not that many things. And it'll mostly be editing because I'm not gonna go around and grab them all. I mean, I have like one thing in the bedroom, I have one thing on the wall. I've gifted 3 things, so I don't even have them in my possession. And then other than the 3 things I have in a frame and the 3 things I've gifted, nothing else is like fully finished. I learned very quickly that cross-stitching and fully finishing cross-stitching are 2 totally separate crafts. And I have 0 fully finishing skills. I don't sew. I love to watch Helen D. And I know she mostly gets her techniques from Vana, and I've watched like a Vana video or 2, but I just love watching Helen D, and I love watching her finish things, and I hope that like she'll surprise me with a way to finish that doesn't involve sewing. And the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is she did it was like a styrofoam block. So you get styrofoam and you cut it to the size you need, and then you can just use pins for everything. You can pin the piece to the styrofoam, pin the fabric to the back of the styrofoam, and you use like thick. So you pin it like on the top and the sides, and then you just use a ribbon. You pin the ribbon. I could do that, but I haven't. Maybe I'll do it for my, I did the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Midnight Way, and I would kind of like to display that. So I could do that on a block. But anyway, but I'm not really drawn to super traditional stitching, and but I saw this sampler on Etsy when I was first beginning to stitch, and I was like, oh my god, I love that so much, I have to have it. But I didn't realize that when I bought it, I didn't realize I would have to do it on an even weave or a linen because the words are over 1. And I know I could do that on Aida, but I don't think I could make it look pretty on Aida for all that. You know, like a fractional here and there is fine, but all the words. So I knew I wouldn't be able to start it right away. I knew I would need to like practice on even weave before I could start it. So I think I kind of always knew I wanted it to be my birthday start for the next year. So you know, I made it a goal to like start buying even weave because I have a lot of Ada in my stash. So now my clubs that I get are even weave to kind of build that stash. And then I've done just a couple little things on even weave. And then as you can see, I didn't really have to start any of these things on even weave except this one, but I have been, just because, again, you know, practice makes perfect. I do like it, you know, except the counting. That's all I don't like. So this is my sad start. It's like 70 stitches on the border. Yeah, border stitching is not fun. And then I was tired. This was Tuesday night. I didn't get a lot of sleep Monday into Tuesday. I started this before we had dinner, and I thought, okay, I'll do some more after dinner. And then I was too tired and I went to bed early. So, yeah, I don't know. I love it and I want to finish it, but I don't know how much I'll love like stitching on it. So I'll be really curious. I want to do an update in a year. Like I really, except like the Hade, except for the Hade, I really don't want to have most of these whips in a year. So, well, I mean, the one of the Gilmore girls things will obviously still be a whip because, you know, it's going to take 4 years to do that. Yeah, so this is the Always Flower sampler. Again, not, we'll see. We'll see. I was surprised that I actually made it to a sampler for Sampler September. I told, Bendy Stitchy put out like a blog post for our Patreons. I was like, what are your plans for Sampler September? I was like, I don't have plans. I am a hardcore stitch what I want when I want stitcher. Hardcore. I don't prescribe to plans or intentions, like even upon myself. I just like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to do it. So yeah. Okay. So birthday start number 4 is Bendy Stitchy Designs Drama Llama Sampler. Picture in the corner. I got this fabric from, this is Chairific from Fiberlicious. It's a fabric of the month. I am subbed to the fabric of the month. And oh my God, when I saw it on Instagram, I was like, that's beautiful. And then I got it and I was like, okay, what do I want to put on that? And I just kept coming back to Drama Llama for some reason. Which is funny. I didn't own the pattern yet, but I had been considering buying the pattern because I had stitched something political and then I wasn't really done being kind of pissed off and enraged. So I was like, what else can I stitch? And so I went and bought Bendy Stitchy Drama Llama sampler, and the personal is political. So when I was thinking like, what do I want to do with this fabric? I just kept thinking about Drama Llama. I don't know why. And then I had to pick floss. Well, I wanted to pick from stash because I have a decent stash. I get 25 skeins a month from 3 different clubs, so gotta use it. So I picked, actually, hold, can show you better. This is called Moana something from Fiberlicious, and it's this really pretty like teal and aqua variegated. Now, I'm not really into variegated. In fact, I think that this will be the last month that I get the floss pack because most of them are variegated, and I find that I like the look of variegated floss, but I don't really like stitching with it because I'm a little fussy about like making sure the ends match up and making sure like it makes sense placement wise, and I don't like having to think that much about my stitching. So, but this one, it's fairly subtle, and I decided to loop start it so that it'll kill some of the variegation a little bit, and then I don't have to be as fussy about how I stitch with it. So I wanted to do this. If it was gonna have a variegated, then that makes sense on the border to me. So I'm using this in place of the blue that's in the border. And then all I knew was I felt like purple was gonna be a color. So I knew I had this, and so I pulled this. I don't remember if this had a name, because I think it might have been from a floss of the month, but this was the first time I had found dyeing for cross stitch. And I bought that fabric for the Orca, I bought another fabric, and I bought the floss pack from that month. So I don't think they name them, but it's just so pretty. I love deep purple. So I pulled this out, and then I was pulling out other fancy flosses to compare it to. And so this is what I settled on. Obviously I have not stitched any purple into this piece yet, but I really love how the blue is looking on this fabric. Love it. I think I just wanted it to be really loud. Like, we need to scream the message, you know? This patriarchy won't dismantle itself. Yeah, so I love this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how few stitches are in it. It looks really big, but it's actually not that big. It's like 5,000 stitches, which totally doable for me. So that was birthday start number 4. Again, all these just have one day in them. My pile's getting precarious. This is what I started tonight. So I saw this, you know, Flosstube and all the enabling. I saw this in when Shannon Bromo, the soda stitcher, started her Flosstube. She did a whip parade and a kitted parade. And I can't remember if this was a whip or a kitted, but I know I came out with a project from both of them. Actually, so I think this was kitted. The other one that was already a whip was Shannon Christine's Jeweled Baubles. Holy mamma jamma, there's a lot of beads in that, but it's beautiful. So I have the chart, don't have the beads yet, but that'll have to get done someday. But in her kitted parade, she had the Nutcracker by RATM Designs. I am not really, I don't know how to say this. It sounds terrible. I've never really seen like the whole story of the Nutcracker. Like, I haven't seen the ballet. I'm not really into the story itself, but I love like Nutcracker themed things. My husband likes Nutcrackers in general. I really like the ballerina in this a lot. I like how the Nutcracker looks. I have never done a proper Quaker, only like a little small quirky Quaker, but I've never done a proper, you know, chart of Quaker designs. So when she showed this, I was like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. I have to have it. And then my friend, Heather, the one that gifted me, she actually gifted me a couple bags a couple months ago. And this was one of them because she knew that I had kitted this up. So it lives in my Nutcracker bag. And again, this is my like pitiful first day, 1 day start. I started in the top left corner with that ornament bubble. Yep. So that's been my week of cross stitching. These 5 projects has been my week of cross stitching. And then one last thing I want to show you, it's not a whip yet, but it's the only thing that I think I plan to start in the foreseeable future, just because again, I have 15 whips now. I went from having 9 before I bought the whip from Michelle G to having 15 now. So I don't really plan to start anything. The only thing I might consider starting that I already have would be an elf forest embroidery. I have a couple kits and I would kind of like start on one of them. But the one that I would start is actually fairly small, around 5,000 stitches, so that's not bad. But this will get started because it is for my husband. His birthday is in less than 2 weeks, but we'll be at the beach on his birthday, so I may start it after we get home, because I do sometimes take stitching with me when I travel, but then I don't usually stitch. I think when I'm on vacation, I literally just want to like lay in bed and, you know, play Candy Crush, and like, I don't know, I take it in case I want to, and I have stitched on vacation a couple times, but I find it just more work than it's worth to start and get set up and stuff. So I won't take it. So I'll start it when we get back from the beach, and then maybe try to stick to, she's still looking out the window, y'all. You can just go lay down, it's okay. I'm almost done. And then I'll start it when I get back, and then hopefully maybe I can stitch on it every month on the 14th, which is his birthday. I don't want to promise a finish by his birthday next year, because you've seen how many things I have. But yeah, so when I just went to Acorns and Threads on my birthday, I bought all the DMC, and they had 2 Krynics. So all I'm missing is 1 Krynic, and then I didn't know what fabric I wanted to use because I wasn't for sure. 123 Stitch did not have the called for, and I didn't know how long it would take to get in. So I was kind of humming and hawing over fabric, and then it came in like the day after my birthday. So I was like, okay, add to cart, bought, and I was missing the water lily silk for the moon. So I bought that, and then I just don't have the 1 Krynic, so I can totally start it. And I have plans for it. So this is, take it out of the bag, Danielle. Come on, get with it. I bought this off Etsy. I am not really a Halloween stitcher or Halloweeny in general, but I loved this. And I bought it for my friend too, because she loves Halloween. I am a Christmas person, she's a Halloween person. So anyway, Glendon Place Sleepy Hollow. I had considered doing this chart for my husband, but I was like, I think it's really cool, but I don't love it. It's not my thing. So I don't know if I can, really convince myself to do this. And then I started watching Chris Cross Stitch, and he was stitching it. And I was like, man, I really, really, really want to, but I don't know if I can. And then I saw somebody in a Facebook group finish this, but all they stitched was the horse and the moon and the tree. They did not stitch the border, and they did not stitch the quote. And I think it occurred to me when I saw it finished that way that the border was a really big detraction for me. And I really loved how it looked without the border. And then I was talking to my friend Heather, and I was like, I do really like the quote, so maybe I just put the quote in and no border. And she was like, or she was like, what you could do is you could stitch the horse, the moon, and the tree, no border. Got it. Then you could stitch separately the quote with the border around it. And then when you frame it with like a double mat, like, so a mat cut out for the horse, and then a more mat, and then a space for the quote. And I really liked that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna stitch the horse and tree and moon and, the graveyard, little tombstones, but I'm not putting that border around it. And then I'm gonna stitch the quote with the border. I'm gonna modify it slightly, because you see how at the top of the border for the quote, there's 2 pumpkins, right? But at the bottom, there's spider webs. And up at the top there, there's spider webs. So I'm just gonna put those spider webs there, and then pumpkin, bat, pumpkin, ghost, bat, ghost, pumpkin, bat, pumpkin, spider web. Although, now that I'm looking at that, that would mean that like the spider web is next to the black bat. I just don't like that there's two pumpkins there. I think that looks weird to me. But either way, I'll figure it out. And then the only other thing that I'm modifying is there are beads in this. And part of why I waited to start this was like, if I was gonna break it up like that, I didn't really know where the Krynics and the beads went. So I didn't know what I needed or didn't need. Krynic. Where are the beads? Where are the beads listed? So I think the beads are only in the border. I know there's one bead in that border, but there's more than that bead. There's two beads. Silver Moon and Royal Teal. Could you tell me? Oh, Lord. Oh, there we go. Okay. So their symbols B and C. Okay. B is definitely in the border. Where is C? Also in the border. Okay. So I decided that since it was just in the border that I'm primarily not stitching, I would not buy the beads. Okay, I see it now. So if you look at the ghost and the pumpkin, there's like a little squiggle of white, and that's the Silver Moon beads. And then there's like two stacks or 2 rows of 2 next to the pumpkins as like a spacer between the pumpkins and the bats. I'm not really sure it needs anything there, but if I put something there, it'll just be, I'll just put floss, just put X's there. But I don't know that it needs anything there. So yeah, I skipped the beads, bought the Krynic. Thankfully, I don't think there's too much Krynic because I'm not super stoked about the idea of the Krynic. I know that the Krynic is in his cape. It's like in his cape there, and in like the saddle on the horse. So yeah. But like I said, I'm doing this for my husband. I made sure, I was like, do you like this? Like, do you like it enough for me to do it? Because I was like, it's really cool and I'll do it if you want me to. But if you're like, then I'm not going to. So it's a lot of work. So yeah, that will become a whip. Hopefully before you see me again. So, you know, now that I've done my birthday starts, so plans. Now that I've done my birthday starts, I think I need to focus on the wreath. I probably can't do it to a finish, because it's 6,000 stitches. That's a lot of stitches, but I think it needs to be a primary focus. And then I don't know, after like, and then maybe Gilmore Girls, because again, I do want 2 of those 3 done before June. So those are kind of my plans. My plans for Flosstube. I'm not going to show you any haul today. I have a little bit, but I don't want to get up again. I didn't bring it over here because I already had such a mess. I, you know, obviously haven't been setting aside haul, but I will try going forward if it's something boring like DMC no. I'm really bad though about just like, I got it, I want to use it. But I'll try to set it aside. My clubs for sure, like I get Bestitch Me 2 pieces, Fortnite Fabric 2 pieces, and Fiberlicious for fabric. And for floss, I do get Fiberlicious right now, but I think I'm gonna send the email to discontinue getting the floss. And I get Color and Cotton and Forbidden Fiber Co. So I'll save my flosses, or you know, my clubs to show. If I buy any, see, I buy a lot of digital patterns. So, but yeah, so I will try to save my haul in like a specific spot, and then I'm just thinking monthly updates. I am really bad at editing. I will film a video and then I'll sit on it for a week before I edit it. I'm gonna try to not do that. I'm gonna try to go sit down and edit this video and actually upload it before I go to bed. But that has been one thing that has stopped me in the past from recording videos and doing videos. So, you know, I may record on the 1st or 2nd of the month, but then maybe you don't see it till the 8th, 9th, or 10th. But you know, if it's only a monthly check-in, that's not really that bad. Weekly, I don't think that would really work out for weekly, because then I'm basically, you know, showing you information that's a week old and I'm about to film something new. Nope. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do monthly floss tubes. Again, I may show a diamond painting here and there if I finish something. That's my plan. If you stuck with me this long, thank you. I hope you enjoyed seeing my whips. I know I love whip parades. I know the community really likes whip parades, so I will probably, I also have some stuff kitted, so I may do a kitted parade, as well as I will do a video showing you previous finishes. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If you liked what you see, subscribe, bell, you know the drill. You're seasoned YouTube people, Flosstube people. And hopefully I will see you in a month. Bye, Flosstube.